Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad and this is Supercoach Pro. In today's video, we're looking at Sam Draper from the Brisbane Football Club now in the off-season, got traded to them from Essendon. And will he take the number one mantle of the ruck position? You'd assume he would over Darcy Fort. Darcy Fort did average 29 hitouts and 10 disposals and is contracted for one more year. Oscar McInerney has retired from Brisbane, so that's his only real battle out there is against Fort. Now, just quickly, if they are named in round one together, you're definitely not picking Sam Draper. I just don't think they line up with Draper, Fort, and Oscar all in the same forward line, along with Logan Morris as well. So for me, it's Sam Draper's to lose, really. They've obviously brought him in as a 27-year-old, and Darcy Fort's about 32, I believe. So, just he hasn't really shown the consistency ever, Draper, to be honest. Like, he is my number two pick to look at because there's potential he has in Supercoach to cover R1 and R2 during the buys. If you have an R3 that's a rookie basement that has a ruck forward status who can swing Draper up to R3 and then cover during the buys and also cover for a 1 to 2 week injury or something like that. I think Draper's the perfect player for that. Or if you wanted to play Draper at R2 potentially, then what you do with that is you'd wait for a Tristan Cherry or a Luke Jackson to come down in price and then play him forward by round 8, so you're not losing too many points and hoping that the cash drops from one of those big ruckmen that you can't quite afford. If you wanted to stack up your back line instead and you had to cut some money, the ruck is definitely the line you can do it from, but it's just making sure you do swing Draper back to the forward line, not keep him in your ruck line all year, because that will be damaging for your Supercoach side. So basically, the start of the year, he actually started off pretty well, barring at 68. There's 105, 110, and a 103 in there, albeit against Eagles. Yeah, Max Gorn, actually, that's very viable, and Hawthorn, so probably would have been Meek, I believe. So we haven't really seen him get firing, so it is a bit of a punt. The more I look at it, the more I'm actually a little bit turned off by the pick. I didn't realize he's only ever averaging mid-70s, but Goldie was in that side, of course, we know that. So yeah, it's definitely very interesting for what he could be. He could be the guy that just comes out and averages 90s in your forward line, which would be serviceable. But there is a world where he could definitely damage and actually break out at 27 years old for Ruckman. That is getting to your prime for your Ruck years, I'd think, or at least probably is there for Ruck. But it'd be interesting to see what these scores are like from his forward Ruck split, because sometimes there's like a 10 hit out game. You're like, hey, okay, are you playing pure forward in this game and then pinch rucking, or vice versa in some of these other games where he's got 32 hitouts. But his disposals are quite good generally, I feel like, for Supercoach point of view, and his marks have always been pretty good when he goes to the goal square. So in a Brisbane side that's pretty stacked with pretty good midfielders that can kick to him, or on the opposite to that, tap out to the midfielders around him too. He's got a very good playing group around there. So I think he's number 2 on my list for at least the most interesting. I'm not going to say he's the biggest lock in my side, but he's definitely a guy I'm going to place at F3 or F4 at this stage of the Supercoach season to cover for the buys, depending who I take at R1 and R2. And also to cover that 1 or 2 week suspension that your player might get, like Tristan Cherry or a niggly injury that's laid out or something. I think it's very flexible, and also on that note, you kind of don't need a Sam Draper in your forward line because of that flex position allows you to cover your ruck line, but it's definitely still food for thought. Now, this would be a guaranteed. Like for me, if we didn't have flex, I'd be looking at Sam Draper. But now that we have flex, he's probably not as hot as what I've actually been coming into the season thinking about Sam Draper. And a lot of these players do get hyped, but for me, I know what he has done and what he could do. So there's so much unknown with the Sam Draper pick. For me, he's probably still on my side at this stage. I'm waiting for that Supercoach Gold. You remember normally gets like all the player prices in around Christmas time, I believe, or at least New Year, somewhere around then. And then if you're not a Gold member, then it comes out a couple months after that, I think. So that is Sam Draper profile. I'll try to do a player profile daily. What I'll do one night is I'll do multiple videos and then release them one per day is what I meant to say. As it is getting late, it's almost 11 o'clock. I'll leave this video here. Thanks for watching. Give us a like if you want more of this content. about different players. And also in the comments, if there's players that you want me to do a quick summary on, just leave them in the comments and I'll get through them. There is about a dozen players I want to get through over the next 12 days, though, that are more interesting than some other irrelevant players that I think might not be as viable selection for your classic side. All right, again, thanks for watching. Leave us a like, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.